Hey Harmonizers, welcome to Fairly's cow sorting day. So today's going to be our first time seeing cows and we're trying to figure out what is she going to compete in at the Thoroughbred makeover. And so today is a little test to see if she has any natural ability for some cow sorting to do the ranch work class at the Thoroughbred makeover. We already did the trail competition on the weekend, and then she's got some jumping stuff coming up on the next weekend. So today, first time seeing a cow, who knows how it's going to go, because Mystique's first time seeing a cow was, well, petrifying is the word I think we'll use to describe it. But who knows how Fairly will be. So let's take a look and see if Fairly's going to be a cow horse. So of course we walk into the pen where there's going to be the cow, and I thought, oh cool, they have one little bridge here. I want to go over the little bridge. Unfortunately, Fairly saw the cows in the distance and was like frozen. So I just had Franny kind of block the cow so that way Fairly could do the bridge on a good note. And then lesson learned, I should not have asked to go over a bridge while there was cows in the distance. So you can see Fairly is doing some fancy sideways movements there. And I was hoping that Peanut would be this like rock solid horse, because Peanut did really well with the cow sorting when she saw, like, we did some cow stuff when we had her. I think it's probably been over a year though. And so I'm kind of letting Fairly hide behind Peanut a little bit, which normally we don't use other horses to make confidence, but when you're that scared, she kind of needed something to hide behind. But then you can see Peanut kind of pieced out a little bit when they moved, and get ready for this spook here in a minute, because there's actually a cow on the far side of the fence, which are not the cows in the arena. And Peanut says, hell no, and a bucket of monkeys, to which Fairly says, well, I guess I'm following Peanut. So yeah, we decide that maybe dismounting is probably the safest option at this point, and instead work a little bit on the ground with them to get them to kind of follow them, to get them into the indoor arena instead, because you can see Fairly is pretty upset. So after the cow came into the arena, I did some work with what I call boomeranging, where I just practiced kind of going towards the cows and away from the cows, and just getting her confidence up so that way she could get closer and closer down the far side of the arena. And then once she was okay with doing that, so especially I'm kind of doing like some approach and retreat kind of work. Once she could do that, then we kind of worked on just watching Peanut move the cows around, which was really good for her. And then after she got comfortable with that, you can see I made a pass on the far side of Peanut, so where Fairly wasn't hiding behind Peanut anymore, and kind of just boosting her confidence up, so that way we were taking on the cow more and more with each kind of repetition going down. And when I'm assessing a horse for, are they going to be good for cow work or things like that, I'm really not holding it against her how anxious she was in this first clip here. And that's really because it's pretty normal that when you try something new that you're going to be nervous about it, that you might be a little bit scared about it. So I'm not really worrying about the fact that she was so scared in the beginning and that it took me so long to start to get where I am there. And it didn't take that long, really. I forget how long. I think I spent an hour and a half over this entire session, and I'm just playing out little key clips for you guys to see how she kind of progressed. But it's normal to be nervous in the beginning, and so that's all fine. What I care about more is how much she's able to progress and what we kind of finish with. So here you can see now we're starting to follow the cows a little bit more. We're starting to move them a little bit, and Fairly starting to take the lead a little bit more. Peanut's still there, and we're kind of doing it together. And that's kind of important too, just because as we're walking around with the cows, if the cows turn on Fairly and try to challenge her at all, then at least Peanut's there and can kind of back her up. For whatever reason, Peanut was terrified of the cows outside, and it didn't take her long before she was like, oh yeah, I remember, I can move them around and it's not that scary. And so even though we were there working the cows for an hour and a half, most of it was pretty slow stuff. And then here's a little look at the faster stuff that we built up to. And that's where Franny is now pushing the cows towards me a little bit. She's not trying to push them at me, but just she's moving them around a little bit faster. And then Fairly's kind of standing all on her own, watching them. And here she was a little bit curious and actually offered to go forward after them. So that's really good. So we started with, just approach and retreat, then following them, then Fairly kind of taking the lead a little bit on them, and then Fairly watching them move around a little bit, and then now Fairly kind of following them by herself a little bit. And you can see Franny's kind of off in the distance there. And here I'm doing a little bit of trot work, so moving them at a little bit faster speed. And I didn't progress to cantering with the cows, partly because, as you saw in the previous little clip there, when she turned the corner, she kind of ran a little bit fast with them, like she wanted to kind of charge with them. And also partly because we'd been walking the cows for a long time, that I didn't want, we want to be fair to the cows and not make them work super hard. So even though a lot of the work was very slow, she startles a little bit. So I just want to make sure she stays super relaxed and learns to just be calm about it.
Yeah, go for it.
Alright guys, so we're going to leave Fairly on that note. She's way more confident than she was. If anything, she actually kind of eyes them, and then when they go run off, she's like, hey, can I run with them? So she's kind of figured out she can move them. Look at her, she's actually kind of like watching them, and Franny's pushed them around a few times behind her, and just look how much more relaxed and calm she is. So we're going to leave it there, and we're not going to try running a cow up and down the fence. We're going to save that for our next lesson. But look at this. This is way better. So we're happy. I'd love to hear what you guys think. I don't know. Does she have the ranch work in her for the Thoroughbred makeover? Let me know. Let me know what you think in the comments. All right, we'll see you next time.